So I will be the moderator for this session tonight. So we welcome all of you to our webinar, Hate It, Automate It, BPM 2.0. This webinar we are hosting in collaboration with UiPath, the leading automation platform in the world right now, and SLASCOM, Automation Association of Software and BPM companies in Sri Lanka. If I ask from you a question to set the context today, would you believe that face of BPM industry is changing due to the disruption caused by automation? So let me pull up some reports and statistics for you. So according to Gartner, they believe the sector's growth will be driven by the rapid adaptation of new services in the digital analytics, artificial intelligence, and automation, as well as those include business process platforms as a service. Also, according to businessstandards.com, IT BPM sector is expected to be improved by mostly based on automation and digital trends, with 70 to 75% of jobs in 2022 requiring new skills. Also, did you know automation has a substitute effect for BPM services? Instead of outsourcing, large organizations are thinking of automating the processes. So while some organizations have understood this and adopted the automation, there are a lot of players who are still thinking of adopting. There are new service offerings and businesses who have taken this opportunity and they have come on board with various and innovative offerings. We can see in the industry, AP automation, we can see tax reporting as a service or as a product are being offered by these innovative and new businesses who have come on board to this BPM space. So that's why we say BPM industry is one of the most impacted industry due to automation and AI today. With this context, we would like to begin our session today with the industry experts. So we have Jehan Perinpenagam, CEO of Informate and Vice President of John Keells Holdings, one of the most renowned BPO and shared services in Sri Lanka, to share the industry perspective as a key representative from the industry. Also, we have Arun Shashidharan, Senior Principal Consultant from UiPath, to evangelize all of us on the pathway for automation in BPM industry. So while we are starting this session, if you have any questions and clarifications, so do not hesitate to drop them in the chat. So we will be taking them in the Q&A session. So without further delay, let me hand over the session now to Mr. Jehan Perinpenagam to share his industry perspective with all of you.
Thank you very much, Shavir. It is indeed a pleasure to be able to share my experience and some of my learnings of automation. So Informate, as Shavir said, was the first shared services in Sri Lanka. And we have since grown to be a fully fledged BPM. Today, we are listed among the top 6 export revenue earners among the BPO sector. So we have had considerable growth. And I'm very pleased to say that RPA is front and center in terms of our strategy. So it's not a IT focus or an operational focus. It is a strategic focus. It's of huge importance. And it's going to be a very, very important part of our future. So the RPA journey, you would have heard the buzz, you would have heard of people talking about it. And some of the reasons that you're looking at automation are concerns on efficiency. as BPMs, we all have challenges where we have client comments or client complaints. Sometimes they want things turned around much faster. Sometimes we have things, challenges where people want work done at the month end very late in the evening, and you find it difficult to get the human resources to meet that challenge. Rising costs. Today, we have a lot of costs, both on the IT side, particularly where there are dollar exposures, and even the cost of human resources is growing. Then the whole industry has a huge challenge on capacity. Our industry is currently, the BPO industry in Sri Lanka is 25,000. Our plan is to double the number, 50,000. And we have a lot of initiatives where I also play a role in SLASCOM to increase the capacity. But most of the BPMs, I think we will identify with this challenge. Hiring is a challenge. And as we grow, it's going to become increasingly a challenge. Then you might have seen a lot of our competition has also implemented RPA, and you are wondering, are we getting left behind? And there is a lot of pressure from boards to automate, to find newer, faster ways of doing things, from our CIOs. So whatever may be the reason, we all have a feeling, we are missing out if we don't start on this journey. So these are some of the personal learnings. So how we started is we started with one project. Where we identified a fairly routine process where one person was doing bank statements. We do bank reconciliations, one of our biggest processes. We have hundreds of bank statements that come to us from a bank on a daily basis. So we had someone doing this very repetitive task of downloading it and then uploading it into another system. If it was a different type of file format, he or she had to save it in a different way. There was also the manual task of some of them are password protected, selecting the correct password and opening that statement so that it could be downloaded. And we had one person doing this. Very simple process. And if you look at your own organizations, I'm sure you can, very rule-based series of activities. So we selected that project and we worked with our internal John Keel's IT, which is one of the implementation partners of UiPath, to implement that bot. And within a few weeks, that was 100% success. We were able to completely, that one person's task replaced with a bot. We gave the name also to a bot. The bot is named George. And it is fascinating to see even today, after probably 2 years, when I walk late evening past, you can see George at work. It's like a ghost working. The computer is working. You can see emails are being sent, files are being downloaded. Even in the night, it works 24 hours a day. It does not stop, does not fall sick, doesn't take leave, and it does its work repeatedly, perfectly. And we were able to move that resource. Now imagine a intelligent person, a finance student, every day doing, he or she also doesn't like that type of work, right? They want to do more knowledge intensive work. So we were able to give that person a more meaningful role whilst getting George to handle this. And within 1 year, we had payback on that investment. Right? So look at a project so that you get your confidence that you can start that journey. After that, so we had very clear ROI, quick implementation, and then that results gave us a lot of confidence, a lot of encouragement to start. The next thing that we did is we did an RPA roadmap. So we looked at across our different operations, what are some of the processes that are suitable for RPA. Not everything is suitable. Sometimes, and you might need to prioritize. So look at a series of activities, maybe over 18 to 24-month window. You need to moderate utopian dreams, right? So everything is not smooth. As you can see, this road is a curved one. In any IT project, you are going to have challenges. So you need to be realistic. Sometimes you might think that everything, you introduce a bot and then overnight, then people will be disappointed. So you need to, like any IT project, you're going to have some tough days. There are going to be some teething issues. You need to prepare for that. Then you have some decisions to make. And this is where we have decided, to get some advice from eGuardian because they will guide you through that process. Is it an attended bot? Is it an unattended bot? What is the suitable configuration for my business. Then, for instance, you have this thing of OCR, optical character recognition. Now, if you look at a process like AP, you need to be able to read your invoices. So what is the right solution for that? Now, all these things, we got some advice, we got some guidance, and then calculate your ROI. Now, this will give you the confidence to move ahead. One advice that I can tell you about ROI is the approach that we took is this is something that we could, we asked ourselves, can we afford not to do? What will happen if we don't do it? And we realize that we will get left behind and all our competitors will overtake us. So sometimes the ROI is not that clear as a finance person would look at it. But some of the things that we factored is the rising cost of staff costs, the increased challenges in attracting and retaining staff, the ability of the bot to work 24/7. And even though in some projects the ROI didn't look too fascinating, we decided to progress, right? Because we took in a lot of other factors, right? So as I said, increased attrition. Now, these are all things that you need to sometimes factor in which doesn't get calculated in a traditional ROI. And where required, reach out and if you have any other implementation partners, they will guide you through this process. This is the step that we took. Then it comes to managing users. Now, you will really benefit if you democratize this knowledge, create awareness amongst your user group so that they understand what is this. The more they understand, the more knowledgeable they are, the more likely they are to support and add value to this process. For instance, Sluscom is organizing upcoming Digital Genesis conference on intelligent automation. Great one for all of you to join and get your teams also. I think it's a online conference. It's not very expensive. I think 4,000 or 5,000 for a ticket, 2-day conference, half days, 2 half days. UiPath will also be, along with eGuardian, one of the sponsors. A great way for you to hear speakers around the world, case studies, and equip your team so that they are familiar with this concept. Look at some very compelling case studies. For instance, Citizen Development Bank. They have replaced 200 FTs. 200 FTs, I believe, that is the biggest RPA project in Sri Lanka. MAS Legato has done some fantastic work. There are several other companies. They have done some very, very impressive work by automating AP process, CDB, 200 people. And they didn't let the people go. They deployed them to branches where they can be used more productively. So there are computers, you can see working, no people. Create excitement in the team. So that people are positive. You need a strong project team. And there are different approaches that you can take. We took the approach of training and we are still building an internal center of excellence. Once you start, you need to ensure that you don't go and automate an inefficient process. These are some lessons and some mistakes that we also made. Look at the process, make sure that you optimize it before you automate. Basic things like documentation. You don't need to, like a traditional project, go into reams and reams of documentation, but you need to have some level of documentation. Otherwise, if the engineer moves out who is supporting this, then you should not be stuck. So there are ways that you can do it easily, quickly, but have some documentation. Clear lines of responsibility. Who is responsible for the project? Is it IT? Is it business? You need to also hold the business people responsible, because otherwise they tend to put it back on IT. You must transfer some of the onus to business and say, this is a business project. Encourage users to brave teething issues. You will have challenges, right? Sometimes we've had the issues where, like any IT project, or indeed like any project, you are going to have some challenges. There will be some mistakes, there will be some quality issues. So you need to prepare users for it, because what I always tell them, if you are building a road, at the end of it, you have a beautiful, nice carpeted road. But in between, you might have some, challenges where a part of the road is blocked, but you need to go through that period so that you can enjoy that beautiful road. And then keep learning. right? So once you finish a project, you learn. There'll be some things that we could have done differently, some things that we could have done better, and then keep going on to the next one. Post implementation, so some best practices that I can share is rigorous follow-up, right? You need, sometimes there's performance tuning necessary to make sure that the speed of the bot is optimized. Now, sometimes the ERP is slow, right? So the bot can work much faster, but because the ERP is slow, particularly at month end, you might find. So then now if you slow down the bot, then at other times people will start saying that the human can do it faster. So you need to do some tuning, right? So then regularly touch base with users. Sometimes you might find that 95% is working well, 5% has some issues. Those can be sorted out. So it's important to listen to users, get their feedback, fix, and check accuracy. Now we did some very sensitive processes, very important processes like payroll and so forth on the bot. Now, those are things that you can't, then if things go wrong, you can't blame the bot, right? So you need to have your quality check to make sure that you're getting it right. So look at sustainability for where you're going to host a bot. Now, we've had situations where you hosted the bot on someone's PC, that person got COVID, and then the bot couldn't run, right? So you might look at a best practice where you have it on Azure server or where it is centrally, and that documentation is available. Optimize the use of the bot. This is a very important point. Now, the bot might be able to do one process, right? And you're paying for the license of the bot and it finishes it in 8 hours. Don't leave the bot idle for the other balance 16 hours, right? You can give it another process during that other off time so that you optimize the cost of the license. Then look at your support and maintenance, because you will have changes, right? So there are very good UiPath implementation partners. John Keel's IT is my own, because I'm from the John Keel group. You have Potenza, who are very good. You have other partners also, right? I think Millennium IT, and so all of them are very good. So get the right partner. Look at support and maintenance. So how you are going to get your, to make sure you get your ROI, few tips: look at user licenses, optimize bots, see whether you can do multiple processes, get the correct advice at the right time. I think Sherwin and his team have been fantastic. User awareness. Remember, the bot can work 24/7, right? So a person can only work 8-hour shift. Bot can work, so that's you have a digital workforce. Be mindful of rising costs of hiring resources and retaining resources. So the bot could be a great solution for that, and keep pressing on, right? Like any project, you are going to have your good days and you're going to have not so good days, but you need to, we have taken a view, this is of vital importance to our future. We must keep pressing on. A little bit about Informate so that you understand the context. We were Sri Lanka's first shared service doing work for the John Keel's group. Today, not only accounting, but we do a range of back office work, shipping, documentation, process mapping, data entry, and of course, end-to-end accounting work. We have customers across the world, and we are very proud of some of the client comments. And we believe in making a difference through business. We were the first to roll out this concept called Rural BPM. We have 3 centers, Sinikama, Jaffna, and Mahabila here. So these young boys and girls are working on SAP. Thank you very much. It's been a privilege, and maybe later on in the session, I look forward to taking any questions. Thank you.
So thanks a lot, so Jehan, for sharing that wonderful insights about how you transform as an organization and how it has helped the automation, how it has helped your organization as well. So I think we have audience coming increasingly from not only from Sri Lanka as well as from Bangladesh as well. So I think 2 most countries where BPM sector is growing at a rapid scale and who are providing services to most of the other parts. So we see a good crowd coming in, increasing crowd coming in now. So with that context, Jehan, thanks a lot again for that wonderful insights and enabling us. So so moving on. So we have Arun Shashidharan, senior principal consultant from UiPath, who is going to enable us on a deep dive in terms of automation in the BPM industry. So we are going to see how automation can be made relevant in RCM sector as well as the BPO operations with some wonderful use cases. So without any further delay, so let me hand over the session to Arun Shashidharan. So Arun, over to you.
Thanks, Shaveen. And first of all, a big thanks to Jahan, sharing your experience and your success around RPA. And it's very informative, and I think you have covered most of my points, right? So let me share my screen first. Just wanted to make sure that I'm also enabled with a voiceover. Share sound, okay. So what I'm gonna do in the next 15 to 30 minutes is around like, and I'll definitely make an attempt to explain why automation and the significance of a fully automated enterprise, right? So before I just get into the presentation, just wanted to give a quick glimpse about UiPath. This is a very informative slide. You can see we started in 2005, and the various breakthroughs that we have in place from 2013 onwards. And most importantly, from 2018 onwards, you can see the various capabilities where we invested. We learned from the experience and from the customer feedbacks that along with RPA, it is very important to have a combination of AI and ML capabilities to address the complex automation, point number one. And in any organization, a process, if we just take example of any of the process, it needs certain level of approvals to ensure that we are following the compliances. And most importantly, every single organization will have a significant way of practices when it comes to completing a transaction, when it comes to making sure all those guidelines are met and all the stuff. So that is where, from 2018 onwards, you can see a lot of combination of utilities being added. And that's exactly, matters towards to the hyperautomation platform. And our CEO, Daniel Dines, the vision is about a robot for every person, which enables an organization to be a fully automated enterprise. Now, before I go to the presentation, I just wanted to play this one video, which talks about the power of automation and a fully automated enterprise. Ideally, this is going to talk about how the software boards going to help in reducing the average handling time, reducing the turnaround time to help the organization to be more competent to the market, and also ensuring that all those transactions are completed with zero errors, ensuring all those compliances, all those guidelines are followed, and all of it, right? Let me play this video, and then we will continue the discussion.
Do you know why robots are here? So we are free to do the things we love. So we don't spend hours and days and weeks doing one tedious thing after another.
So we have time to think, to be creative, and pursue new ideas. What took hours now takes minutes. What was pretty accurate is now perfectly accurate.
Can you imagine what we humans can achieve if we are powered by that kind of speed and accuracy?
Robots automate display ads in Google AdWords in 3 seconds. I take 10 to 30 minutes. So what do I do with the extra time? I strategize, I write, I fine-tune audience targeting so the ad becomes more effective.
Robots update legal documents to the latest version at any point of time, so I don't have to. So I get more time to think of complex legal arguments that win.
Robots translate customer requests to English and route them accurately to me, so I can spend time offering the best response fast, rather than scramble for translations.
The truth is, this is the ultimate collaboration, robots and humans. Robots do all the boring, backroom stuff, so we don't have to. We can dream big and push ourselves to be our best versions. we can create amazing new things and keep growing our people and our customers so that everyone progresses, everyone wins.
We started as 10 people, and now we are the fastest growing enterprise software company in history.
So this video clearly resonates about the kind of efficiency and the productivity which an organization can achieve with the help of the software boards working along with the agents or the employees in an organization. Now, let's understand the significance of a fully automated enterprise. So when I started, I clearly mentioned about the power of automation and the significance of a fully automated enterprise. The significance of fully automated enterprise clearly talks about the approach, the automation first approach to any organization. See, it's all about first of all, the 4 pillars which mentioned over here points out points about how the software bots helps in eliminating all those mundane and repetitive tasks. Point number 1. Point number 2 is how we can enable a robot to every person in an organization. Hence, all the employees will be able to focus towards more business insights driven kind of activity. Third point is about democratizing the development. So see, this automation, when it comes to automation, it's not just about automating all those processes. All the senior level people in the organization, they will also have a lot of mundane tasks in the sense they have to prepare a PPT presentation from multiple reports, things like that. So we have capabilities which helps these senior business folks to automate those areas. That's where our no-code platform helps in automating those kind of processes. And most importantly, how to leverage the AI capabilities to address all those complex automation in scope. So all these 4 different pillars, this really talks about the approach, the automation first approach to automate all those mundane tasks and all those complex processes in your organization, right? Now, how do we do this? This is where our platform comes in picture. So you can see 4 key pillars: the discover, the build, the manage, and the engage phase. So from my experience, once a customer starts with an automation, the very first question is, which process should I automate? If I automate that process, what would be the benefit? What kind of a benefit I can realize in the form of man-hour savings? And what is the level of implementation complexity out of it? How can I engage all the different personas in an organization, which includes the HR, the HR heads, the finance people, and the practice heads, etc., etc. Because the success of any organization when it comes to automation is about complete participation. This is where our Discover tool, which have a lot of scientific capability, which helps in driving the automation to a success. You'll be able to find automation hub. You'll be able to find process mining, task mining kind of capabilities, which provide that kind of visualization about, for example, you have a pain area in your reconciliation or in your cash collection kind of a process. So our process mining kind of a capability showcases you all those visualization of those roadblocks, and from there you can take your decision scientifically where to start your automation and what kind of a benefit you are able to achieve. And in the build phase, we have capabilities like, the document understanding capability, which is a combination of technologies like OCR plus extractors, plus you can develop models. For example, invoice processing. So in any organization, invoice processing is one of the processes where quite a few number of people are working, and there will be quite a few number of vendors will be there. And all these vendors will be sending those documents, which will be in very different formats. That is where we see the complexity lies. How do we do the data extraction of, from those in-scope documents? That's where our document understanding capabilities play a significant role. And most importantly, when you do this, data extraction, this platform will also help you do the training of those documents as well. So over a period of time, if you start with a success rate of 50%, as and when you start, training this document with all those different scenarios, you will be able to achieve a great success out of that. And then we have our AI center. This is where you'll be able to develop a lot of models, like the machine learning models. You don't need a data scientist in place. you can simply develop the model, because that's the kind of flexibility and easiness that the platform is offering to you. And not only that, for example, in your organization, you already developed some of the models. You can simply make use of that model in our platform, just like a native capability when it comes to developing that particular workflow. And most importantly, the action center. So suppose, see, like, when it comes to invoice processing or any of the transaction, there will be a high value transaction which needs an attention from a senior person from the organization, like an approval perspective. That is where our action center plays a significant role. How a bot and a human can work together, a hybrid model of automation. So today, when we come to automation, all the exception scenarios, all the areas where an approval is required, we have a mechanism in place which helps a human and a bot to handshake and work together. So all these are the different utilities and capabilities which helps to achieve the required ROI and positive business outcome when it comes to the automation part. And this is one of the recent research conducted by Capgemini, which points out the positive automation impact and the KPIs, the leaders and the followers achieved. The leaders are the one, according to me, who started this automation journey, like from 2017, 2018 onwards. They are the one who are reaping the main benefit out of this automation, because you can see these numbers. They're able to, improve the company revenue to 75%, profitability to 76%, reducing the operating expenditure to 75% and capital expenditure to 64%, and certainly driving a lot of innovation, right? So why they are able to achieve? Because they are now adopted. They have learned from their experience, like Jahan mentioned. They are now gearing up to more complex level of automation by leveraging the AI ML capabilities and hybrid model of automation, right? So this is a very informative reading from Capgemini, and I request everyone to have a look on it. Now let me take your attention to the BPO. When it comes to BPO, there are a lot of practices, and one of the practices around the healthcare revenue cycle management. I will walk you through our experience in the RCM industry. So the key focus area in the RCM industry are mapped under the 4 key pillars over here. One is definitely about the technology advancement, and the key levers to this technology advancement includes RPA, AI, and ML. And second is about the digital delight. When we talk about the digital delight, this is clearly addressing to reducing the average handling time and reduction in the turnaround time. There are a lot of processes like insurance benefit verification, which have a key SLA in place, and that needs to be adhered to. So that's where RPA have a significant role, and we are able to improve that kind of an efficiency, provide that kind of an efficiency and productivity in place. Definitely addressing the lowering the cost of operation and ensuring zero revenue leakage. When it comes to revenue leakage point, it is all about the kind of business model that particular organization is having in place with the end customer, right? It can be a FT-based billing, or it can be about transaction-based billing, things like that. So how can we adhere to that and make sure that no SLA breach happening in place? And most importantly, a business continuity and helping the employees to have a satisfaction when it comes to their work. We all face this pandemic time. People were working from home, and there is a lot of challenge based on business continuity. And this kind of situation, if all those mundane and repetitive tasks is being taken care by the bot, then it is very much helpful for an organization that the employees or the agents needs to only concentrate on the decision making kind of an activity. So that's the way they can ensure a lot of business continuity, and there should not be any problem when it comes to delivering the kind of expected result back to the end customer. So this is what we are able to provide as an end result when we looking into the complete value chain of RCM in place, starting from scheduling a patient registration to collection, right? I will walk you through a little more in detail about those use cases as and when we move to the next slides. So how do we do this? So this is where UiPath domain and platform experience comes into picture. So we have industry domain consultants and solution consulting team, and our platform have all the capabilities which helps an RCM kind of practice to get automated. And then we have a significant experience in Citrix automation and the EMRs like Epic, Cerner, or Script kind of platform where we have already been automated. And then the API, so from an automation perspective, we are comfortable with the UI and API and Fire endpoint automation. And there are a lot of reusable components that you are able to also identify in your marketplace, which accelerate your return on investment. So this is the kind of an approach we take when it comes to addressing all those kind of queries or all those kind of automation approach towards RCM practices. So this is one of the important slides. So this is the heat map. Here you can see the automation potential across different processes when it comes to the complete value chain of RCM, starting from pre-claim, pre-visit, visit, claim submission, inbound processing, payer and patients, and the cross-function activities. Here you can see the processes highlighted in dark orange, like the claim submission, payment posting. These are the ones where huge potential and adoption what we experienced. And there are also EDI converters. I will talk about that in the upcoming slide. So this one slide gives you a view about the quick wins. So when you are starting your automation in the RCM space, claim statusing, prior authorization statusing, payment posting, insurance verification, cash reconciliation. These are the ones to get started with, because this ensures you quick wins and quick return on investment. The strategic ones are the one where when it comes to coding, charge entry, charge capture, documentation and indexing of those different documents by leveraging our document understanding platform. All these are the strategic focus area when it comes to a customer journey where you can see high potential and high value, right? So now let me take your attention to some of the high impact areas. So here you can see the kind of value we deliver to these customers. And see, when I'm talking about insurance verification or benefit verification, so the use case is if I just elaborate on the use case, see the customer have this one application which is Centricity is an application name. They receive the inventory over there, and the agents will go through that inventory and start getting into the accounts, and then access the specific payer portal, start extracting the patient information and the claim information, and then completing the transaction. This is one of the area which we already automated with the help of ICR OCR technology in an attended unattended fashion, and a huge value is being delivered. Charge capture and coding is another focus area. So one of the customer, they have this one platform where the end customer application it has a automated code map. Automated coding is there. At the same time, their pain point was when it comes to procedure coding and discharge disposition, they have more than 75% of errors. So the agents who are working, they are missing out some of those documents and they are not able to capture it correctly. So that is where we deployed the board, and the board were able to go through all those documents and capture the required data point, start doing a three-way mapping with whatever the data extracted versus whatever the auto-generated codes, and also go to the rule book and verifying the details whether all these informations are correct or wrong. So this is another one area where a lot of close to 30 to 40% of automation potential is being delivered. Denial resolution and payment posting or transaction posting. This is another focus area. This one also, the robot is logging into the billing application, download the, identify the claim details, go to the, applications like payer portal like Passport, Ability, CSNAP, start extracting the details and ensure whether the patient is being covered with the right set of benefits, and then updating the set of information back to the inventory file, and then doing the marker code posting, not posting, re-aging and rebuilding of this complete transaction. So this is a long-running workflow, and this has more than 40 to 60% of automation potential, right? So all these are good candidates from an automation perspective, and we're just showcasing this because this is already been delivered and this has high potential when it comes to automation, right? Now I will showcase one demo. In this demo, what you're going to see is our robot will leverage the document understanding platform, where you will see in any process when it comes to RCM, there are multiple documents will come. The document can be different formats, different type of document. It can be patient information, it can be a EDI or a EOB. And this, first of all, needs a classification and then data extraction. And in this particular demo, you will see how the robot is going to do the classification of those documents and also the data extraction part. And most importantly, you can also see how the robot is going to do the training of this particular scenario. For example, it identifies a new set of labeling of document. And once you train it, and the next time it is going to start, understanding that scenario and, extract or classify those documents correctly. I'm going to play this and let me see. So this is our studio, and the bot is getting initiated. And you can see the bot is working in the background and start extracting information and doing the classification of the document. It classifies as the first document, and we are using a position-based extractor to do the classification. And now what the agent is going to see a presentation layer where you can see, the bot has done most of the work, extracted the information, and the agent is going to see this one UI where the agent can just go ahead and look into the confidence score. So this is the confidence score of the extraction. For Peter, the write as Peter, John as write as first name and second name. And based on the confidence score, the agent can just have an eyeball check and do the verification and validation. In the beginning, in the hyper stage, the post automation, the hyper stage, this is what is being done to capture all those different scenarios. And once it is being settled, the validation is not required at all. So what I'm just trying to say is the bot is doing the classification, and by engaging a human, if there is an area where a human intervention is required. You can see the extracted data, and if a correction is required, they can just do the correction. And this is going to be the knowledge for the board to understand it and manage it on the next occurrence. And it starts extracting the diagnosis score details from the table and exposing to the agent to validate it. Now let's see the next one, how the training is happening, right? The board in the background is classifying the document, and it's a new document type, and this has to be mapped as CMS 1500. So we are just training this particular document as CMS 1500, and the next time the robot by default select this as CMS 1500. If the next one, it is by default, it is capturing is the right set of classification. And similar like this, all the new set of documents and in scope, various different documents, it can be trained, and we'll be able to. So this is a patient information form, so it will be classified as patient information form, and the board does the data extraction. So the key point over here is document understanding platform, which has the capability where we can first of all do the extraction part and also can do the training of those documents as well. This really helps you achieve a great success, right? Now about the EDI converters. So there are a lot of EDI converters, as we have in our marketplace as accelerators. Let me quickly run this one.
Electronic Data Interchange, or EDI, is essential to improving standardization and costs within healthcare. But what about the hidden costs created by platform interoperability, external service platform access, and paper documentation? With the UiPath free EDI conversion activity, your healthcare organization can mitigate those hidden costs very easily. Here are 3 ways to do it. 1. Use UiPath Document Understanding and the EDI capability to extract payment details from the paper EOB and append to 835 for cash application. 2. Extract the 837 claims into a CMS 1500 format automatically to perform upfront integrity audits before they reach the claim analyst. 3. Cut out the middleware and costly platform changes. Let Attended Automation extract 835 payment details for entry into your RCM or BI platform. And best of all, it's easily scalable to the enterprise level. Go on, try the UiPath EDI conversion activity for free today.
This is one of the key accelerator which adds a lot of value when it comes to the direct communication between the payer and the provider part, and RCM focus is going to be like how we can have this information very handy, and you can find this accelerated in our marketplace as well. Now I just wanted to take one use case. So this is about benefit verification. You can see, so here in this particular use case, we're just trying to showcase you what kind of benefit that particular customer has achieved. So in this particular process, the solution was like, the robot will log into the Citrix environment first, and then, it will access those application. Centricity is the application here. Download the inventory file, check the duplicate first, and then, it does it with the help of the patient ID, DOB, all those kind of verification part. And then there is an estimate of benefit verification form, which is a standard format. And it just picks, the robot will go and, open this PDF form from the shared folder, and then it goes to the specific carrier portal like Ability, Passport, and start extracting the patient and insurance details, like the patient name, date of birth, and the insurance, carrier information, benefit details, network, all this kind of information. This is one of the most important phase. So I have color coded this as Action Center, and this as like green, which is unattended automation. In the very beginning, this part will be, executed with the Action Center and the document understanding. But once this is getting trained, this will be completely green in nature, because the bot understand, the different formats, and eventually it start extracting all this information without any fail. And then once it extract the information, it will go and update this, estimate of benefit verification form, and then save the document and complete the upload the document into the specific Centricity application. So now another one point is like, this part again is reusable across multiple processes. So when it comes to benefit verification or insurance verification, or when it comes to denial resolution, all this information are required. So once you develop this own model, this can be further leveraged and scaled across multiple processes in scope as well. So for this customer, for this one process, they have close to 15 agents working in the day and the night shift, which is a combination of a web-based and a call-based kind of a process. And their key SLA was like, the web-based, day shift people have to complete 55 cases, and night shift people have to complete, because it's a combination of, call-based and the web-based, they have 30 cases to be completed in a day. In the post-automated environment, you can see how the SLA improvisation, the efficiency and productivity improvisation happened. So in a post-automated environment, the same customer was able to save a 8FT kind of a saving. And here, because this process is running in the day and the night shift, the bot can be utilized more than 80%. That is where we only need 3 unattended bots to take care of this, along with the document understanding platform. So this customer was able to achieve significant success, and not only that, they were able to make use of this model reusability. This part is a reusable model across multiple processes. So we for the same customer, we did a value estimation. So what we were able to showcase back to the customer is that, see, in an ideal scenario for the 15 people, the kind of man hours spent on a year is close to 14,000 and 21,000, which will hit a cost of operational spend of close to $171K or $171,000, right? And in a post-automated environment with a 63% of automation potential. So this cost is a combination. First of all, sorry to mess this up. This 171K is the combination of seat cost and the FTE cost, and for that particular customer who has shared those information. Now, in the post-automated environment, we were able to deliver close to 63% of automation potential. That means we were able to help the customer to save close to 120K on a year-on-year basis, right? And this customer, there is a higher chance of scalability as well. This 15 FTs currently, based on the key SLA, they were managing close to 600 cases in a day-to-day basis, right? And in the post-automation, they were able to save close to 10 FTs, wherein they only need 6 people to take care of this complete volume, right? Their savings is close to 9 FTEs, and they only need 6 people to take care of the 600 cases. Now, once this is settled, the scalability is like, the same, the bot and the robot and the human, they will be able to take care of close to 1,000 cases in a day. That is a level of scalability. And in an ideal scenario, to manage 1,000 cases, they might need 24 people to work. But to manage this 1,000 cases or 977 cases, the required FT is only 9. That means they already been over, they have more effort right now, and they only need 9 FTs, and literally they are able to save 15 FTs effort of savings. So this is a brilliant opportunity when it comes to automating these kind of processes. Your scalability is just like so easy. You can add number of boards, and you can add more number of vendors, and you can make use of the same model to do the extraction. And it's all about some sort of customization which is required when it comes to the billing application or those in-scope application to update those information, right? This is I thought of share this one kind of a benefit value estimation slide, which helps everyone to understand what we are trying to address, right? Now, I also wanted to point out this accelerated. When I started, I mentioned we have a lot of accelerated. We saw the EDI converters in place, and like this for the RCM, KPO, and BPO in our marketplace, there are a lot of accelerators. I request everyone to have a look on it. So you'll be able to see what kind of reusable components are already there that you can test and see the kind of success. So simple. The key message over here is see, from UiPath perspective, our philosophy is not just platform as a service. We have invested heavy in our ecosystem. That is where you can see UiPath Academy, where you'll be able to get all the certification done about those kind of document understanding platform, a senior developer certification, how to use our AI center, how to use our orchestra. All the certifications are available. And in our Go marketplace, you can see all those accelerators. And in the connected community, we will be able to connect with all those different partners and collaborate with the different developers. And we have integrations with the technology partners in the space of OCR, AI, and ML. And also we have a forum in place for 24/7, which provides you all sort of support when it comes to any resolution of queries and things like that. So in short, I request everyone to have a look on this different ecosystem, which really helps you in adapting to your automation journey very faster. And we have eGuardian and Sherwin and all are working very close on a day-to-day basis. So from an implementation perspective, they can be full of support as well, right? Thank you very much. And I'm just passing it back to Sherwin. Sherwin, over to you.
Thanks, Arun. Thanks a lot for sharing that insightful content with the audience today. So I think those contents, especially in terms of approaching the robotic process automation in the, it can be BPO or it can be RCM space, going to be very valuable in terms of the adaptation. So thanks again, Arun, for taking us through that wonderful presentation. And with that, we can actually move to the question and answer session. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, or you can raise it through by unmuting yourself. So at the meantime, we request all BPO and RCM companies who have joined today. If you have any questions, clarifications, as well as if you require support to start your automation adaptation, and if you want to seek support in terms of how you can transform your business, we welcome every one of you to eGuardian. So get in touch with us. So we have been helping organizations transform, not only in terms of adopting automation and start saving from the operational cost perspective, but also how you can actually transform your business, sell automation as a service. So some of the things that we discuss, okay, how you can take BPM services as a platform. So these are the things that we can actually help you with, how you can transform your business model. So get in touch with us. So we welcome everyone for these sessions. Right. So we have one question coming in. How about the HIPAA compliance certification for UiPath Cloud? I know most of the new features like document understanding and AI would require the client to go for cloud option, right? So I would like to direct this question to Arun. So Arun, so this is regarding HIPAA certification. Would you like to share your opinion on this perspective?
So we have significant wins, first of all, in the RCM space, and all these customers, like, from a platform perspective, we are Veraport certified, but from data security, data privacy, all this kind of focus areas, the kind of implementation the customer is approaching is around like on-premises, and some of the areas where they are able to have the customer convinced, the end customer convinced, we having that kind of an engagement, and we are just ensuring all those kind of security when it comes to data privacy and data management part.
Right. So Arun, there is also another question coming in. How does process mining works?
Right. Okay.
And how is it helping for BPM sector?
See, process mining is very powerful when it comes to, for example, you have a focus area. Say, suppose from your organization, if your focus is into invoice processing, which already have a lot of variations, and you find a lot of errors and things like that in space. So what happens when it comes? So what process mining provides is like, it collates all those log details from the application, and it just gives you the complete visualization about how this process is getting, the transaction is getting processed. So all those SLA breaches, all those roadblocks, or all those areas where, for example, some of those transactions which needs an approval, and if the agent is bypassing that and completing the transaction, those kind of audit and complaints can also be tracked with the help of the process mining. So this is very powerful, and this ideally helps you understand the complete transaction with all those different variations and ensure that your approach towards automation is right. Because it also gives you the timestamp about from step number 1 to step number Z, what is the time taken and who is processed, and where is it getting delayed? Is it delaying within the same team, or because of the data dependency from a second team? All those kind of visualization is possible with the help of process mining. So you can take a right decision about how to approach that particular process from an automation perspective.
Thanks, Arun, for those explanations. So, of course, process mining also helps BPM and RCM organizations, especially to understand in terms of their process adaptation. One is from their perspective, okay, how they can streamline their functions, how they can visualize, okay, what are the delay points, what is the throughput time, likewise. And also it can be another transforming model for the customers that they are providing services to, providing process visuals and providing insights for the customers as well as a new service offering. So Right. So let's see whether we have any other corrections at the moment. Right. So I guess that's it from the question and answer session. So with that, we can actually wind up for the day. Before that, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Mr. Jehan Perinpanagam, for joining with us today. Thanks a lot in terms of the insights you provided on the from as a representative from the BPM industry. So Arun, thanks to you in terms of taking us through the RCM, BPM, BPO adaptations, the industry cases. It was much valuable for the organizations who are joining today and who are planning to start their automation journey. Last but not the least, we would like to thank Sluscom, our event partner, for this partnering with us today and inviting their member companies to join with us. So I hope these sessions that we are bringing through eGuardian and Sluscom will help you in terms of adopting automation and as well as transforming your business model to create a better and more valuable business value proposition in your organization. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining, and accordingly, we can wind up. So stay safe, take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks. See you.
Thanks, Jehan.
Thanks.